Once upon a time in the heart of eastern Nigeria, there was a kingdom known as Tukarta. Tukarta is a land of great beauty, abundant resources, and skilled warriors. Tukarta was revered throughout the land for its power and resourcefulness. The Tukarta kingdom was ruled by a wise and just king. However, the king had no son, despite being married to 4 wives. One day, the chief priest brought a prophecy to the royal household. Sitting before the king, he revealed that there was a prophecy that spoke to the likelihood of him having an heir to the throne, but it came with spellings of unclear consequences. The king danced in joy and said he was ready for any consequences. The chief priest said the king would have to be intimate with all the wives in a night. He rejoiced once more. That very night, the king met with all his wives. All the wives became pregnant as a result of that night, and that news made all the villagers happy. They were hopeful that at least one of the 4 pregnancies would produce an heir to the throne, but something happened that would change the kingdom forever. 9 months later, the second wife had a baby girl, and the following week, the third wife had a baby girl too. The king became very worried, but 3 days later, the first and fourth wives fell into labor, and both delivered a baby boy at the same time in the royal labor chamber. The boys were named Ikenga and Ikemefuna. The news spread across several kingdoms and the naming feast was huge. Different royal representatives graced the event. But years later, tragedy struck. The king fell ill and passed away, leaving behind a kingdom in mourning and an uncertain future. As the mourning period cooled down, it became clear that a great conflict was brewing between the 2 sons. Each believed they were the rightful heir to the throne. As neither was willing to bow to the other's claim, a bitter feud erupted between them and their supporters. That became the beginning of a huge rivalry between the 2 brothers as the quest to be king began. Different metrics were designed by the elders and kingmakers to decide the rightful heir, but the 2 boys, Ikenga and Ikemefuna, rejected them. The people of the Tukarta kingdom found themselves divided, with some fiercely loyal to Ikenga, and others equally devoted to Ikemefuna. The dispute soon escalated into a full-blown conflict, with lives lost and properties destroyed. The once unified kingdom became a chaotic piece. Realizing that the rivalry between the princes would tear the kingdom apart, the elders and royal advisors proposed a difficult decision. Unable to find a compromise, it was decided that the only way to prevent further bloodshed and preserve the unity of the kingdom was to divide the land in 2, creating separate kingdoms for each prince to rule as king. And so, the once great Tukarta kingdom became known as Tukarta land but was divided into the Umame kingdom and Ohoma kingdom, ruled by Ikemefuna and Ikenga respectively. The people of the 2 kingdoms accepted the decision, but bitterness and resentment now existed between the rival kingdoms. That marked the beginning of a new era. Though both kingdoms stood as powerful and resourceful entities, the memory of the once unified Tukarta kingdom faded into history. The 2 kingdoms continued to exist in a delicate balance. As time went on, inter-kingdom marriage became prohibited too. Years turned into decades, and decades into centuries, witnessing the reign and end of different generations. One day, a wise elder from a neighboring land visited the kingdoms and spoke of an ancient prophecy that foretold the reunification of the divided Tukarta kingdom. This prophecy sparked a glimmer of hope in the hearts of the Umame people, but worrisome to the people of Ohoma. That was because the king of Ohoma, at the time of revelation, had no heir to the throne and he was past childbearing age. In addition, rumors have it that the king of Umame ascended the throne with a self-acclaimed desire to reunite the kingdom before the end of his reign. He was quite young and still had more years to achieve such a feat. Chijioke, the current king of Umame, was unlike any of his predecessors. He was a visionary leader with a burning desire to reunite the 2 lands. The stories of old filled him with determination. He believed that his ancestor Ikemefuna was the rightful heir centuries ago, being the son of the king's first wife, and that it was his destiny to restore the unified glory of Tukarta. The prophecy of reunification spread across the lands, serving as a beacon of hope for Chijioke. It foretold a time when the 2 kingdoms would come together once again, stronger than ever. While the people of Umame embraced this prophecy, the kingdom of Ohoma was anxious. Their king, who had no heir, was growing old and frail, leaving the throne open to dispute. When the king of Ohoma died, the kingdom was thrown into turmoil. His younger brother saw this as an opportunity to seize the throne, but his claim was met with resistance. A faction within Ohoma believed that the late king's daughter, Princess Adugo, should become the first queen to rule their land. She was beloved by many for her wisdom and compassion. Yet others argued that a woman's rule would bring disaster, clinging to outdated beliefs that undermined Adugo's capabilities. The Umame kingdom, watching the strife unfold, saw this division as an opportunity to press their advantage. Chijioke, seeing the chaos in Ohoma, believed the time was ripe to reunite the lands under his reign. But his ambitions would ignite the fires of war. With tensions high, the Umame kingdom made their move, launching an invasion of Ohoma. The clash between the kingdoms was fierce, leading to the capture of Princess Adugo. Her capture was both a strategic victory and a mortal blow to Ohoma, sparking rage among their warriors. In a swift and deadly retaliation, the Ohoma forces struck back, and in a tragic turn of events, King Chijioke was killed in battle. The young prince of Umame, Adachi, was now thrust into leadership amidst the chaos of war. Prince Adachi was different from his father. Though trained as a warrior, his heart was kind and gentle. As he met Princess Adugo, his captor, he saw in her the hope for a better future, a future that didn't have to be marred by hatred and division. As fate would have it, Adachi found himself falling in love with Adugo, who, despite her captivity, showed immense strength and grace. Adugo too felt drawn to Adachi. She saw in him a desire for peace, a reflection of her dreams for her people. Together, they shared a vision of a united Tukarta, one where their kingdoms could coexist in harmony. With love and hope guiding them, they devised a daring plan to end the war and unite their people once and for all. The day came when the two kingdoms clashed again, with war drums echoing across the battlefield. But this time, as the warriors faced each other, something unexpected happened. Adachi and Adugo rode to the center of the battlefield, hand in hand. In a bold move, they declared that they would end their lives if the fighting did not cease immediately. Their declaration stunned both armies into silence. The warriors paused, their weapons hanging in the balance. Seeing the love and determination in the young couple, many realized that this senseless war was tearing their lands apart. It was at this moment that Adugo's uncle, who sought the throne, rushed forward in anger, attempting to strike down Adachi. But Adugo, swift and resolute, drew a hidden sword and stopped him with a decisive blow. "I declare that no threat to the peace of Tukarta shall be tolerated," she proclaimed, her voice carrying across the field. Her words, coupled with her actions, resonated deeply with the warriors of both kingdoms. With the uncle's treachery revealed and his life ended, the battle came to an abrupt halt. Adugo and Adachi's courageous stand had opened the eyes of many, revealing the futility of their endless feud. Right there on the battlefield, the two young leaders declared their intention to marry, symbolizing the unification of Umame and Ohoma. Right after Adachi and Adugo declared their intention to marry, an emotional silence fell over the battlefield. As if summoned by destiny itself, the old and gray man who had foretold the ancient prophecy rode onto the field on a horse. As he approached the center where Adachi and Adugo stood hand in hand, the old man raised his voice, which carried like a gentle breeze across the silent battlefield. "The prophecy has been fulfilled," he announced, his voice filled with an almost otherworldly resonance. "For it was written that the divided kingdom shall be reunited through the bond of love, and peace shall reign once more over the land of Tukarta." Their union marked the beginning of a new era, one of peace and prosperity for Tukarta. The people of both kingdoms, moved by the bravery and love of Adachi and Adugo, laid down their arms and embraced the future. The land that had been divided for centuries was finally whole again, as Tukarta reunited under the wise and compassionate rule of King Adachi and Queen Adugo. And so, the once divided kingdom of Tukarta flourished, a testament to the power of love, courage, and unity, a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. As time went on, the memory of the divided Tukarta faded, replaced by the shared history and achievements of a united people. The younger generations grew up knowing only the peace and prosperity that had been achieved through the courage and vision of their king and queen. The story of King Adachi and Queen Adugo became a beloved tale, told and retold to children at bedtime. It was a story of love triumphing over hatred, of unity overcoming division, and of a kingdom restored to its former glory through the hearts of its leaders.